Abandon fear and trust yourself. Open up to all life's wealth. Tap into a sixth sense with intuitive intelligence.
Hello, and welcome to the Intuitive Intelligence Podcast. I'm your host, Bernadette Gold, clairvoyant success mentor, here to inspire, to educate, and to inspire. And I've got a special guest today. Super excited to be with Miss Natalie Woodman. And Natalie is a transformation coach, a mentor, a body specialist, a healer, a heart-centered entrepreneur who facilitates quantum shifts and breakthroughs, helping women regain body connection. Welcome, Natalie. How are you?
Thank you for having me. Hi, I'm well, thank you. And I'm so glad to be here.
So do you have anything you want to add to that intro? How long have you been doing this kind of work?
I've been doing this kind of work for a while, alongside doing my physio work, but I've sort of gone into it much more over the past sort of year. So I guess I'm focused much more on this now. Before I was kind of in two camps doing physio and that, but I think there comes a point where you begin to embody so much more of your own wisdom that you can't separate and distinguish how you work anymore, that it just comes through you. Which meant that, I knew it was time to kind of focus much more, and that this was sort of my calling. Mm-hmm. And my mission was to kind of help women connect more with their bodies, having been through a journey with myself in that very way over the past 18 years. So, I can kind of see I can see the pitfalls. I can, with a lot of women that I've worked with, I can, see the internal struggles and challenges that they've gone through, having gone through it myself. And then I help them navigate through that with the work that we do.
That's fascinating. You have what's called Sacred Body Alchemy. What is that?
So Sacred Body Alchemy focuses on physical and energetic work together, along with the emotional body of work as well. So it works on helping women come into communion with your body, because I think first and foremost, there's so much disconnect that in order to create harmony and balance, we need to be in communion with our bodies. So that's the first step. And then it's about creating sort of coherence in the physical, energetic, and emotional bodies. And so we do that through Sacred Body Alchemy. And then also it's about being congruent with who you are, your message, your intuition, your guidance, and then kind of embodying that. So that's what Sacred Body Alchemy is all about.
Nice.
Yeah.
So would you mind sharing what you went through, or some story in your journey that really kind of drove you to know that this is my calling?
Sure. Oh, wow. I have quite a few. I'll probably go. Okay, the most recent one, I guess, over the past 18 to 24 months, I kind of knew that, the way I was working wasn't the right way for me. As a driven female entrepreneur, working in a male kind of dominated society and way of working, I was the kind of person, I used to like pushing myself really hard, but I always kind of found the hardest way. It's like, okay, my body has to keep up with me, rather than kind of working together and coming into some sort of balance. So there were so many points along the way where my body just, gave me these little health scares and said, no, Natalie, you're not going about it in the right way. There's an opportunity for you to kind of do this in a healthier, more harmonious, a balanced, a kind of way for your body. So that was something that I really had to learn. So it meant downscaling the business that I had, streamlining things so that I could have less stress and pressure on myself, creating more work-life balance so that work wasn't the sole focus and kind of drained the passion out of life. Because I think sometimes when you have a business and you're striving so much, that can be your sole focus, and it can kind of suck the joy out of, life sometimes. So I knew that wasn't the way forward. And that was my start to coming back into balance and, listening to that intuition and guidance. I am so, so grateful for that right now. And, looking back, I'm such a different person, looking back there where I am now, life's different. And I think, my body has been my greatest teacher. And every time I choose to listen to my body and the wisdom that it gives me, there's an acknowledgement, there's a gift in there. And
you must listen better than I do, because I've had to do like leukemia and cancer, hit just the strive and drive forward, and then burn out, treat leukemia, start all over again, because you make a good point. And I think a lot of female entrepreneurs go through this, and even in corporate, we just push and push and push until we collapse.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had burnout too, so I can totally resonate. When I expanded my company about 10 years ago, my original physio practice, I'm like, oh my God, bigger is better. Oh my God, I've got to put so much effort in. Oh my God, all this, everything has to lie on my shoulders, so I was carrying it, even though I had an amazing team to kind of share the load and the support with. But the mindset at the time wasn't a healthy one. Mm-hmm. And so I pushed my body to the point where it said, enough, I can't do this anymore. And if you don't want to listen, I'm going to make you listen.
Here's the interesting question I have for you, because I found this to be true for myself in the last year to 2 years. As scary as it was to pull back and do less, mm-hmm. and have, get adjusted to the slow down, like there's nothing going on, without freaking out. Oh my God, my business is falling apart. I need to go back into kick it mode.
Yeah.
Even though we do that, we actually make more money. Have you found that to be true?
I have. And that's where I'm at right now, because I've really been leaning into that over the past year and a half, 18 months. It's just like, can I do more aligned work? Mm-hmm. I think that's how I choose to put it. It's not that I'm doing less. I'm showing up and I'm doing more work in an aligned way, in a way that's meaningful for me, that's meaningful for my work, for my business, for the community that I serve. And so the body of work that I put out is so much more powerful than the busy work that I was doing before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's why women, though, are afraid to kind of slow down. So What would you say is the most important thing? I mean, why is this sacred body alchemy needed in the world right now?
It's needed because for so many people, there's this massive disconnect. There's this disconnect between, having the head lead rather than leading from the heart. Having society dictate how your business should look, how you should show up, what it should be like, rather than, coming from your own sacred body wisdom and being guided from your intuition and the divine into how you should show up, what your business should be like. And it took me, it's taken me ages just to get to that point, to be able to embody that fully and go, oh my God, mine doesn't have to be like everybody else's. And this isn't a competition, Mm-hmm. So, and then the other really important thing is about having a healthy, balanced masculine and feminine within ourselves, so that we know when to lean back, when to ask for support, when to go in, when to ask for guidance, and when to take aligned action. And it's that balance and that flow between the two that I think helps create health, helps create harmony in the body and the vibrance that we all want and we all crave.
Yeah. So why do you think that we're so tuned out? What is it about this world that we've been so disconnected?
That's a great question. I think we've become disconnected. This is my take on it. I think with social media, with looking for external validation rather than seeking the internal validation and that inner knowing, because once you have a healthy masculine and feminine, once there's coherence with your own body, once you know how to trust your body and your body knows it can trust you, and once you've got that connection with your gut intuition, your heart knowing, you're connected to the divine, once you have that, I think the external validation can fall away.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because you're like, I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do. I know who I'm here to serve. And that's it.
And we wait until we're old.
I know why.
I don't know. I think because we can keep a faster pace when we're younger. You know, it takes longer to burn out. The older you, once you hit 40, things just start happening faster. Then you hit 50 and you're like, whoa. You know, I remember in my 20s, I could stay up all night. I could drink, I could dance and go to work the next day and perform. And I mean, I have one glass of wine and it takes me 2 weeks. So I just don't drink. I'm like, can't imagine how we did it back then.
I can't do it either.
But it would be fascinating and so helpful, I think, for young women, young mothers to get this without having to wait until they're 40 or 50.
Yes. Because, if I knew this when I was 25 or even 30, oh my God, my life would be so different. So different.
Relaxed and happy, you mean?
Right? Totally. No stress, none of that external worry of, is it good enough? Or, what are others going to think? If I think about all the energy, right, and the life force that gets taken up by all of that chatter, all of that, disharmony, where it could be used and almost alchemized and reused by the body in such a different, a healthy, a balanced way. Oh, it's just profound. And I think I've just looked back and realized that just for myself and for other women. And if I knew that then, I think I would be totally different. I'm grateful.
You have a physio background. Explain what that is.
So I qualified as a physio 24 years ago. I specialized in neurology. So I worked in spinal cord injury. But I actually had I had a back injury probably a year after being qualified as a physio. So actually my journey with, reconnecting with my body started, early on into my physio degree, where I had to go for Pilates rehab. I couldn't sit properly. I couldn't drive. And actually, so I started to reconnect with the body in a very different way, a way of how can I come into harmony? How can I make this easier instead of harder? And that's where it started. And then, there were dips along the way where I went back to the old way, flipping between the paradigm of easier, harder. But all of that wisdom, all of that, information that I've gained has helped me understand the body, has helped me understand like the physiological system in such a way that I can really help women connect with their bodies. Because I think sometimes we think we're in our body, but we're actually not.
We're in our head. We're not in our body, we're in our head.
But we're not in the pelvis, we're not in our hip bones, we're not anchored, we're not grounded. So my background helps me, I guess, create almost like a vision for women, so I can say, okay, so this is what your pelvis looks like, connecting through, your bones and feel your pelvis. Because I think once you can feel your body and connecting, then that's a different sort of connection with your body. And once you can do it once, it's easier because then we can there's a muscle memory and we can go back to that of oh, I could do it once, and then that means I can do it again. And so then we work on that loop of creating that so that it becomes automatic and instantaneous, and we can embody that. So in the beginning, it's going to be a bit clunky, like everything that we do in the beginning. But the more we implement it, the more we take action, the more we put it into our daily lives in everything that we're doing, the more we begin to embody that. And then it just comes through as the new norm.
So how do you work with people? Do you do it in person? Do you do it online? How do you do all of that?
So I work with people online, and so we can do one-to-one. And I've got a mastermind, a group program starting in September, which will then allow like a group of women to be coming into a container, and then also working virtually. Within the work that we do, there are different tools that I share with women, and these tools are really to help them reconnect with their own bodies, to help get a sense and actually experience what it's like to be in their own body. Mm-hmm. And as there's certain strategies and tools that I share that help us shift the energy both physically, but also I do energetic work to help the energy shift that way too. And one of the most important tools is knowing what to do when things come up along the way, right? Mm-hmm. So, because things are going to happen, until the day we die, right? So the more strategies we can implement and therefore embody of, I've got a stressful moment, right? Okay. Or, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling angry. I don't want that, to sit into my tissues because, that creates disease in the body. So how can I move that out in a helpful, healthy, helpful, harmonious way specific to my body? And so I teach women different strategies so that they have like a toolbox that they can draw on and go, okay, actually, the most important thing for me right now is just to sit and breathe. Let me breathe. Okay, no, actually, I think I need to move, right? Let me move. And then, so they're going to have lots of different strategies, because at the end of the day, there isn't going to be one right strategy that's going to work for everything. We need to kind of know what we can use, and it's going to differ depending on what's come up. So, within the work that I do, I love being able to support women so that they can, one, be supported as they're going through their personal transformation, because let's face it, it can be scary, it can be frustrating, especially when you need to take this aligned action, but it's something that you've never done, and trusting that inner wisdom, you're like, do you know what I mean?
I do.
So, I think it's so important to work with someone who's been through it, who believes in physical transformation, who's constantly taking aligned action to up-level their own body physically, emotionally, spiritually. And that's how I work with myself and how I work with my clients, because I'd like to be a role model for someone else going through their own journey, because, having mentors of my own, I think one of the things that helps me, or has helped me on my own journey, is to know that people can resonate, right? When someone can resonate with the struggle that you're going through, where they can show you a mindset shift of, actually, well, have you thought of thinking about it in this way? Can you flip the narrative? It can just change the whole dynamic of the process that you're going through, or the struggle that you're going through.
Group programs are powerful. I've been facilitating group now since 2014.
Yeah.
And the dynamic that pulls you forward, because even if you're struggling, as you're making your own personal transformation, when you see others breaking through,
right,
it pulls you forward. Otherwise, you would stop and think. I found this in the group that I'm in with the mentor. We're together, right? That you think about quitting. It's just too hard. I can't get it. But then you watch everyone else succeed, and you're like, no, they're getting it. I'm getting it. Maybe I'm taking longer.
Yeah. And
I'm going my own journey to get to the same destination, but I'm getting it. So I think it's powerful to have a mentor. Yeah.
I agree.
I'd love to hear one of your favorite breakthroughs with a client? Like, what's one of your favorite stories of a client?
One of my
I know
favorite.
we all have them.
We do. One of my favorite breakthroughs with one of my clients is for her, we really had to help reframe how she saw her physical condition. And really, there was a massive shift in her taking control and actually believing that she had much more control over her situation physically, her mindset, her body from a nutritional perspective, how she could show up, how she could nourish it, how she could treat it. And, now she is a totally different woman. She is confident. She is really positive. She is able to share that wisdom with other people around her. How she shows up for her body physically is such that, nutritionally before she, was a bit hit and miss. Now she's like, oh, no, I know how to nourish, how to support my body, both through my thoughts, through my food, through my actions, through how I show up, through exercise. And that was just a massive thing. It's a lady who has MS, but, she completely flipped it. She's so much stronger than where she was. She's able to walk so much further. In the beginning, she thought, oh my God, there's no way I can have a dog. Oh no, I couldn't do that. That's too much. That's just too much. And actually, through the journey of working, she has an animal. She takes the dog walking twice a day.
That's
and
amazing.
to flip the narrative of, oh no, I just have enough energy to look after me and work and that, and there isn't enough space for anything more, to then go, actually, no, I can. And it's about that, right? It's about the whole thing of how much more life can I allow in? How much more support can I allow in? How much more, can I do? Or am I willing to embrace? So
Yeah, I love that. I love that because there's so many times clients will come and say, well, my doctor said, my doctor said there's nothing that can be done.
yeah.
And to be able to bring someone like you on and say, yeah, you have control. You have more power than your doctor's telling you. Medicine isn't your only hope.
No.
And it's not a hope. I think it does more damage most of the time than it does good.
I think it's a real struggle. And I think one of the biggest things that I've even noticed, in rehabilitation through the 20 years of being a physio is the mindset. Yeah. The clients who have a can-do mindset of, this is my body, I'm in control of it, make the most gains. The clients who believe that actually the doctor or the therapist or everybody else knows more than I do. It's a totally different start and a different end point. So, I'm always of the opinion of, this is your body. What do you want to do? This is your body. What do you want to achieve? I'm here to help you, but we've got to meet each other halfway.
And that's what I love about even the name of your program, Body Alchemy, Sacred Body Alchemy. And I think people think about alchemy in different ways. So what does it mean to you?
Alchemy to me means, I think of harmonizing. Yeah, I really think of harmonizing. I think of, I see like when I think of alchemy in my own body, I think of my physical body, my emotional body, and my energetic body. And the alchemy is the union of the three together. And, how can I create a better relationship between each of those aspects of myself? How can I create harmony? How can I create cohesiveness? How can I, create a coherence between each of those areas of my life and of my body? So for me, it's about, whatever isn't meant to be mine, to help that leave. what is no longer mine to carry or what was never mine to carry through alchemy. I think that gets to shift, be that physically, emotionally, spiritually. So to me, alchemy almost means like a realigning.
It's
coming
magical,
back into
though.
balance.
It feels magical. It does. So if there's one thing you'd like to say to those women listening, to give them inspiration, hope, what would it be?
If you are struggling with your body, if you have realized that you've got this push-pull dynamic, if you've realized that your body wants one thing, you want another thing, or there's a polarizing of you've got energy, you have no energy, that can shift, that can change. But it all starts by you coming back into the right relationship with your body. And it can change. We can heal adrenal fatigue. We can shift the dynamic. We can do less and achieve more. We can create more money by doing less. But it all starts with a paradigm or a mindset shift of what we believe to be possible and what we believe to be the way that we need to show up. So I think if you are open to changing the way you're working with your body, if you're open to changing the dialogue and the dynamic between the two, then a lot can change. But I think in order for you to come into right relationship with your body, in order to reconnect with your body, your intuition, your gut knowing, there has to be communication, which means we actually have to listen to our bodies, which means we have to connect. So, and that means we have to feel. And so feeling is one of the most important things that we can do because we're human.
Yes.
Right? And it's a gift and it's a joy to feel. Even if it's something that's painful, through that there's a gift, right? So I believe that there's a gift in everything, but coming into the right relationship with your body and creating that sacred union means that you have to feel, you have to show up, you have to connect, and you have to want to do it. But when you do, you get to love the skin that you're in. You get to love your body, and that radiates through you, through how you show up, through your work. And I think when you can connect with your body, you then deepen your connection to your own intuition, your own guidance, and the guidance of the divine, which means you get to serve at a higher level. I firmly believe that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, if someone wanted to find you because you are so magnetic, and really you're a beautiful soul,
Thank
but
you.
You're radiant, your skin glows, and you just look like you're very healthy, right?
Thank you.
And not stressed. I see so many entrepreneurs that are just like, very stressed, and you're very relaxed. So if another woman was like, oh, this Natalie Woodman, she sounds very interesting, how do they find you?
Okay, you can find me on my website, which is bynataliewoodman.com, or you can find me on social media. It's by Natalie Woodman on Facebook or Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining today. It was such a wonderful conversation. I am honored that you came on here and shared your beautiful gifts with my audience, and I hope that anyone that this does resonate does connect with you. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for this wonderful opportunity of being able to share my wisdom with your amazing community. I'm truly grateful.
You're awesome. All right, you guys, we will see you later.
Abandon fear and trust yourself. Open up to all life's wealth. Tap into a sixth sense with intuitive intelligence.